Captain Zara Vance stood on the bridge of the starship Horizon, gazing out at the vast expanse of space stretching endlessly before her. As the first Terran ship to venture this far beyond Earth's solar system, the Horizon and her crew were pioneers, bravely facing the unknown. Captain, long-range sensors are picking up an anomaly. Lieutenant Kai Adari reported from the ops station, his brow furrowed in concentration. It looks like some kind of energy distortion, but I've never seen readings like this before. Zara strode over to peer at Kai's display. Strange waveforms undulated across the screen, painting a picture of roiling subspace turbulence. How far, she asked. About 2 light years off our port bow, Kai replied. Should we alter course to investigate? Zara hesitated only a moment before nodding. Absolutely. I haven't come this far to turn away from a mystery. Helmsman, lay in a course for the anomaly, maximum safe speed. As the helmsman acknowledged the order, Zara settled into the command chair, feeling the familiar thrum of the quantum engines as they powered up. She tried to ignore the twinge of unease in her gut. This far from home, any unknown factor posed a significant risk. But Zara had always been driven by an insatiable scientific curiosity. Solving this puzzle was an opportunity she couldn't pass up. The Horizon leapt to warp speed, racing toward the enigmatic energy source. As they drew closer, the anomaly grew clearer on their sensors, a churning knot of colliding gravimetric forces and subspace distortions. Captain, I'm detecting a faint energy signature at the heart of the distortion, Kai said, excitement creeping into his voice. It looks artificial. Possibly a ship or probe of some kind. Zara leaned forward, squinting at the readout. Can you clean up the signal? Get us a visual. I'll try. Kai's hands flew over the console as he adjusted the sensor arrays. The static on the view screen began to resolve into an image, a sleek, angular craft of gleaming silver metal, unlike any ship Zara had seen before. Strange geometric symbols adorned its hull. Incredible, Zara breathed. An unknown alien vessel. Hail them. The comms officer opened a channel, but after several attempts shook her head. No response, Captain. They're not acknowledging our signals. Zara frowned. Keep trying. And run the symbols on the hull through our linguistic databases. I want to know what we're dealing with here. As the crew worked, the Horizon drew alongside the mysterious ship. It was close to twice the size of their own vessel, dwarfing the Terran craft. Despite the aura of immense power it radiated, it seemed dormant, drifting on the eddies of the anomaly. I wonder if there's anyone alive on board, Zara mused. Or if this is an automated ship. Captain, I'm picking up a massive energy surge from the alien vessel, Kai called out, alarmed. On the view screen, the symbols on the ship's hull began to glow with an eerie sapphire light. The brilliance intensified until it was almost blinding. Suddenly, an intense beam of energy lanced out from the alien craft, enveloping the Horizon. The ship shuddered as if gripped by a giant hand. Warning klaxons blared. Report, Zara shouted over the noise, gripping her chair's armrests. Some kind of tractor beam, Kai yelled back. It's pulling us in. Engines are at full reverse, but we can't break free. Zara felt a spike of fear but forced it down. Raise shields, charge weapons, but hold fire. We don't know if this is an attack or a miscommunication. Despite the Horizon's struggles, the sapphire light inexorably reeled them in toward the looming alien ship. As the tractor beam dragged them into a cavernous docking bay, Zara could only watch in awe and trepidation. The Horizon shuddered to a halt, swallowed up inside the vast alien vessel. Zara unholstered her sidearm and gestured for her security team to flank her. First contact protocol, she reminded them. We come in peace. But stay sharp. Atmospheres hissed as the Horizon's airlock cycled open. Zara stepped forward into the unknown, ready to face whatever waited on the alien ship. But as the sapphire glow from the hull panels washed over her, a wave of disorienting vertigo suddenly struck. Zara staggered, her vision tunneling. She dimly heard her crew cry out in similar distress before she lost consciousness and everything went black. Zara awoke with a gasp. She bolted upright, disoriented, heart pounding. As her vision cleared, she realized she was no longer aboard the Horizon or even the enigmatic alien ship. She found herself lying on a platform of polished blue stone, surrounded by soaring crystalline architecture, unlike anything she had seen before. Overhead arched an artificial sky, filled with unfamiliar constellations. Where ... Where am I? Zara murmured, her voice trembling. You are in the Nexus, came a melodious reply. The heart of the sapphire sovereignty. Zara turned to see a tall, ethereal being approaching. Its lithe form was a shimmering matrix of silver and sapphire, more energy than matter. Eyes like stars regarded her with ancient wisdom. "I am Ambassador Zill of the Rygulian Stewardship," the alien said. "Welcome, Captain Zara Vance of the Terran Confederation. We have summoned you here because your people stand on the precipice of a great decision, one that will shape the future of your civilization and the fate of the galaxy." Zara struggled to process the flood of revelations. "Summoned? The anomaly ... that ship ... it was you." Zill inclined its head. "A necessary deception. We had to test your nature to ensure you were ready for this burden. And you have passed. You displayed courage, wisdom, and restraint, the hallmarks of a species ready to join the galactic community." "I don't understand," Zara pressed. "Why us? Why now?" "Because a great danger looms on the cosmological horizon," Zill said gravely. "An ancient enemy stirs in the dark realm, preparing to strike against all life in our universe. Only an alliance of younger, dynamic species like your own, working with the elder races, has any hope of averting this cataclysm." Zara's mind reeled at the scope of what the ambassador was proposing. "This is so much to take in. I'm just one ship, Captain. How can humanity hope to face a threat?" On that scale, Zill placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. Its touch electric. "Have faith, Zara Vance. We will guide you and your people. Together we will find the strength. The Sapphire Sovereignty has foreseen it." As Zara looked into the ambassador's wise, ancient eyes, she felt the first stirrings of an impossible destiny taking shape. The Terran Confederation was about to take its first steps into a much larger world, and she would be the one to lead them. The Sapphire Enigma was only beginning to unfold. Captain Zara Vance's mind raced as she tried to process the incredible revelations Ambassador Zill had shared. The fate of not just humanity, but the entire galaxy suddenly rested on her shoulders. It was a staggering responsibility, but one she knew she had to embrace. "What must we do?" Zara asked, her voice steady with resolve. "How can the Terran Confederation help stop this ancient enemy?" Zill's starry eyes gleamed with approval. "You will need to gather allies from across the stars. Many young races like your own have the potential to join our cause. The Lumerians, the Etheri, the Vox Collective, each has a role to play." The ambassador waved a hand, and the air shimmered. Holographic star maps bloomed around them, painting the chamber with the swirling arms of the galaxy. "The key lies in the lost worlds of the ancient." Zill continued. "Scattered across the cosmos are powerful relics and hidden secrets that could turn the tide against the darkness. Your mission, Captain Vance, is to lead an expedition to recover these artifacts before our enemy can claim them." Zara studied the maps, committing the unfamiliar star systems to memory. "I'll need my ship and crew, and resources from the Confederation." "All will be provided," Zill assured her. "The Sapphire Sovereignty will lend its support, but stealth and speed are crucial. The enemy has agents everywhere, and they will stop at nothing to thwart us." As if on cue, a deep, sonorous boom echoed through the crystalline city. The ground shuddered beneath their feet. Zill's form flickered with alarmed energy. "They found us," the ambassador said urgently. "The Obsidian Legion has breached the Nexus. You must go." Now, before Zara could react, the world dissolved around her in a blaze of sapphire light. She felt the dizzying sensation of falling before everything went black once more. Zara awoke with a start to find herself back on the bridge of the horizon. Her crew was stirring around her, looking equally disoriented. On the view screen, the alien ship was gone, as if it had never existed. Captain Kai asked groggily, "What happened?" "I remember the light." And then Zara shook her head, trying to clear the fog from her mind. "It wasn't a dream. We've been given a mission and a chance to save everything we hold dear." She stood tall, addressing her crew with newfound purpose. "Set a course for the nearest starbase. We have work to do and not a moment to lose. The Terran Confederation is going to war." As the horizon leaped to warp, racing toward an uncertain future, Zara knew that the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. The Sapphire Enigma had set her on a path she could never have imagined, but with the wisdom of the ancients and the strength of her crew beside her, she would face the darkness head-on and light the way to a brighter tomorrow. The starbase was a hive of activity as the horizon docked. Confederation ships of all sizes swarmed the space lanes, loading supplies and marshalling troops. The tension in the air was electric. The entire human sphere was mobilizing for the greatest conflict in its history. Zara marched down the boarding ramp with her head held high, her crew fanning out behind her in perfect synchronization. Waiting for them was Admiral Miles Baxter, the grizzled commander of the Confederation fleet. His eyes widened as Zara approached and snapped a crisp salute. Captain Vance, Baxter growled. "Damn good to see you. When the Sapphire Sovereignty contacted us, I could hardly believe it. But here you are," Zara nodded grimly. "The threat is real, Admiral. The Obsidian Legion is coming, and we're the only thing standing in their way." Baxter handed her a data pad. "Your mission parameters and fleet assignments. You'll have command of a task force, the best ships and crews the Confederation has to offer. I'll need them," Zara said, scanning the pad. The scale of the operation was staggering. "We're going to be scouring half the galaxy for these ancient relics. And we're counting on you to find them," Baxter said. "The Lumerians and Etheri have already pledged their support. They're waiting for us at the rendezvous coordinates." Zara tucked the datapad away, her mind already racing with strategies and contingencies. "We won't let you down, Admiral." The horizon will lead the way. As she strode towards her ship, Zara could feel the weight of destiny settling on her shoulders. The fate of billions depended on her success. But she had faced impossible odds before and emerged triumphant. She would do so again for her crew, for the Confederation, and for all the civilizations of the galaxy. The horizon set out into the stars once more, at the head of a mighty armada. Zara stood on the bridge watching the fleet assemble on the view screen. Sleek Lumerian battlecruisers, ethereal Etheri dreadnoughts, and the rugged vessels of the Terran Confederation, all united in common cause. "Captain, incoming transmission from the Vox Collective," Kai reported. "They're requesting permission to join the fleet." Zara smiled. The Vox were a mysterious race of sentient machines, rarely seen outside their own territory. Their support would be invaluable. "Grant them permission and transmit the rendezvous coordinates," she ordered. "We'll need all the allies we can get." As the fleet leapt to warp, racing towards the first of the Lost Worlds, Zara felt a surge of hope. The road ahead would be long and perilous, but they would face it together. The Sapphire Enigma had brought them to this moment, and with courage, determination, and the wisdom of the ages, they would see it through to the end. The stars streaked by, a blur of light and potential. Zara stood tall on the bridge, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The galaxy was waiting. It was time to answer the call. The fleet emerged from warp at the edge of a shimmering nebula, a vast cosmic cloud of gas and dust. According to the star maps provided by the Sapphire Sovereignty, the first of the ancient relics was hidden somewhere within its swirling depths. "All ships, assume formation Delta 6," Zara commanded over the fleet-wide channel. "Sensor drones and recon craft, begin your sweep. We need to find that artifact." As the fleet fanned out, delving into the nebula's multicolored haze, Zara couldn't shake the feeling of unease that crept up her spine. The enemy was out there somewhere, lurking in the shadows. They had to stay vigilant. Hours turned into days as the search dragged on. The nebula was a labyrinth of gravitational anomalies and electromagnetic storms, making progress slow and treacherous. But finally, a breakthrough came. "Captain, we've detected an energy signature," Kai exclaimed. "It matches the profile of the ancient relic." Coordinates locked. Zara leaned forward in her chair. "All ships converge on that signal. Prepare for anything." As the fleet closed in, the nebulous haze parted to reveal a massive structure floating in the void. It was a sprawling complex of ancient metal and gleaming crystals, clearly not of natural origin. The relic was here, but as they approached, a chilling sight greeted them. Surrounding the structure was a phalanx of obsidian ships, bristling with weapons. The Obsidian Legion had beaten them to the prize. "Enemy vessels detected," Kai shouted. "They're powering up weapons." Zara gritted her teeth. "All ships, engage. Protect the relic at all costs." The void lit up with the fury of battle. Lances of energy and volleys of missiles crisscrossed the space between the fleets. The Terran ships, sleek and maneuverable, darted between the enemy craft, trading blows. The Lumerians and Etheri brought their advanced technologies to bear, unleashing exotic weaponry that rippled and distorted the very fabric of space. At the heart of the maelstrom, the horizon danced, its quantum cannons flaring. Zara guided her ship with deft precision, weaving through the chaos, striking at every opportunity. Her crew moved as one, a well-oiled machine forged in the crucible of battle. But the Obsidian Legion was relentless. Their ships were ancient and powerful, imbued with dark energies that leached the strength from their foes. One by one, the Allied vessels fell, consumed by the inky tendrils of the enemy's weapons. "We're losing ground," Kai warned, his face grim. "The Legion is pushing us back." Zara slammed a fist on her armrest. They had come too far to fail now. The relic was within reach, tantalizingly close. She had to do something bold, something unexpected. "Helm, bring us about," she ordered. "Plot a course straight for the relic." "We're going," and the Horizon surged forward, breaking from the battle line. It charged headlong towards the ancient structure, weapons blazing, cutting a path through the heart of the enemy fleet. The Obsidian ships scrambled to react, caught off guard by the audacious maneuver. "Captain, we're taking heavy fire," Kai reported, alarms blaring across his console. "Divert all power to engines and forward shields," Zara commanded. "We only need to hold out a little longer." The Horizon shuddered under the onslaught, its hull groaning under the strain. But it pushed forward, relentless, unyielding. And then, with a final burst of speed, it broke through the enemy lines and reached the relic. "Quantum anchors, engage," Zara shouted. "Lock onto the artifact and prepare for immediate warp jump." The Horizon's specialized tractor beams lanced out, enveloping the ancient structure in a web of shimmering energy. The ship shuddered as the relic's immense mass strained its systems to the limit. "Warp drive engaged," Kai reported. Jumping in 3, 2, 1 with a blinding flash, the Horizon vanished, taking the relic with it. The Obsidian Legion let out a collective roar of fury as their prize was snatched away. The remnants of the Allied fleet, battered but unbroken, regrouped and prepared to fight their way clear. In the heart of friendly space, the Horizon emerged from warp, the ancient artifact securely in its hold. Zara slumped back in her chair, exhausted but triumphant. They had struck the first blow against the darkness, but the war was far from over. As the fleet limped back to the starbase for repairs and resupply, Zara knew that their quest had only just begun. The remaining relics were still out there, scattered across the stars, waiting to be found, and the Obsidian Legion would be hunting them every step of the way. But they had proven that victory was possible. The Alliance had held strong, united in the face of overwhelming odds. And with each relic they recovered, they would grow stronger, gaining the knowledge and power of the ancients. Zara stood tall on the bridge of the Horizon, looking out at the stars. The road ahead was long and perilous, but she knew in her heart that they would see it through. The Sapphire Enigma had set them on this path, and they would follow it to the end. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. But as long as heroes like Zara Vance and her brave crew stood ready to fight, there was always hope. The light of courage and unity would guide them through the darkness to a brighter dawn. And so the legend of the Horizon and its valiant captain spread far and wide, inspiring all who heard it. The saga of the Sapphire Enigma had only just begun, but one thing was certain: the galaxy would never be the same. The Allied fleet regrouped at the starbase, licking their wounds and preparing for the next stage of the campaign. Engineers swarmed over the damaged ships, repairing hull breaches and restoring systems, while tacticians pored over the data gathered from the battle, seeking any advantage against their formidable foe. In the heart of the starbase, the recovered ancient relic was the subject of intense study. Lumerian scientists and Ethereum mystics worked alongside Terran researchers, trying to unlock its secrets. The artifact pulsed with an eerie sapphire light, hinting at the vast power contained within. Zara stood before the relic, her brow furrowed in thought. The key to victory lay somewhere in its alien geometries and cryptic symbols, if they could just decipher its mysteries. Captain Vance's voice called out, shaking her from her reverie. It was Kai, a look of excitement on his face. The Vox Collective has finished their analysis of the relic. They say it's a star map, pointing the way to the next artifact. Zara's heart raced. Then we have our heading. Gather the fleet commanders. We need to plan our next move. As the leaders of the Alliance convened, a sense of purpose filled the air. The star map revealed a treacherous route through the heart of a dying star cluster, a graveyard of ancient suns. It would be a perilous journey, fraught with gravitational anomalies and stellar debris, but the reward would be worth the risk. The Obsidian Legion will be waiting for us, Admiral Baxter warned. They know we'll be coming for the remaining relics. Then we'll have to be smarter, faster, and more daring, Zara replied, a fierce determination in her eyes. We'll split the fleet into smaller task forces, each following a different route to the star cluster. It will spread the enemy's forces thin and increase our chances of breaking through. The plan was met with nods of approval. It was a bold strategy, but boldness was what the moment demanded. The fate of the galaxy hung on their success. As the fleet prepared to depart, Zara stood on the observation deck, gazing out at the assembled ships. The horizon gleamed at the center of the formation, a beacon of hope amid the gathering darkness. She felt a presence at her side and turned to see Ambassador Zill, the Regalian's form shimmering with ethereal energy. "You have done well," Zara Van Ziel said, a note of pride in its voice. "The Alliance has grown strong under your leadership." Zara shook her head. "We've only just begun. The real test still lies ahead," True Zill acknowledged. "But do not discount the importance of what you have already achieved. You have united disparate races, forged bonds of trust and cooperation, where once there was only suspicion and isolation. That is no small feat."
Zara looked out at the stars, her gaze distant. "I just hope it will be enough. The Obsidian Legion is like nothing we've ever faced before." Zell placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Have faith, Captain. The ancients left their relics for a reason. They knew that one day the galaxy would need defenders like you. Trust in their wisdom and in the strength of those who stand beside you." With those words, the ambassador faded from view, leaving Zara alone with her thoughts. She drew in a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. But there was a lightness there too, a sense of purpose and destiny. She turned and strode towards the horizon, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The star cluster awaited, and with it, the next piece of the Sapphire Enigma. As the fleet split into its component task forces and set out across the void, Zara couldn't help but feel a sense of trepidation. The star cluster loomed ahead, a swirling maelstrom of dying suns and gravitational chaos. The Obsidian Legion was out there somewhere, waiting to strike, but there was no turning back. The fate of the galaxy depended on their success. They had to push forward, no matter the cost. The journey through the star cluster was a harrowing one. Gravitational shears tugged at the ships, threatening to tear them apart. Stellar flares lashed out from the dying suns, bathing the fleet in searing radiation. And always the looming sense of an enemy waiting in ambush, ready to pounce at any moment. But the Alliance held strong. Lumerian navigators guided them through the treacherous currents, while Etheri's shielding technology kept the worst of the radiation at bay. And when the Obsidian Legion finally struck, the fleet was ready. The battle was joined in the heart of the star cluster, amid the swirling clouds of stellar dust and the baleful light of ancient suns. The Obsidian ships emerged from the darkness like predators, as all jagged edges and malevolent purpose. But this time, the Alliance was not caught off guard. The task forces converged on the enemy from multiple angles, pinning them in a web of coordinated fire. The Terran ships formed the backbone of the assault, their quantum cannons tearing through the Legion's defenses. The Lumerians and Aetheri added their own unique strengths to the fray, wielding weaponry that seemed to defy the very laws of physics. At the heart of the battle, the horizon danced, a silver arrow amid the chaos. Zara guided her ship with preternatural skill, anticipating the enemy's every move. Her crew worked as one, a seamless unit forged in the crucible of war. And then, amid the tumult of the battle, they saw it. The second relic, a vast crystalline structure floating in the heart of the star cluster, shimmering with an inner light. The Obsidian Legion had already begun to deploy troops to secure it, but the Alliance was hot on their heels. All task forces converge on the relic Zara commanded over the fleet-wide channel. "We can't let the Legion claim it." The battle intensified as both sides raced to reach the artifact. The Obsidian troops swarmed over the crystalline surface, seeking to establish a beachhead. But the Alliance forces were relentless, pushing them back with a fierce determination. In the end, it was the Vox Collective that made the difference. The sentient machines had deployed a specialized unit of infiltration drones, capable of worming their way through even the most advanced security systems. As the battle raged around them, the drones slipped aboard the relic and began to unlock its secrets. With a sudden, blinding pulse of sapphire light, the relic activated. The Obsidian Legion troops recoiled, their weapons suddenly inert in their hands. the tide of the battle turned in an instant, and the Alliance pressed their advantage. As the last of the enemy forces were driven back, Zara stood on the surface of the relic, her eyes wide with wonder. The structure hummed with an inner power, and she could feel the weight of ancient knowledge pressing against her mind. "The relic is ours," she reported back to the fleet, her voice filled with triumph, "and with it we are one step closer to unraveling the Sapphire Enigma." But even as the Alliance celebrated their victory, Zara knew that their trials were far from over. The Obsidian Legion had been beaten back, but not defeated. They would regroup, adapt, and strike again. And somewhere out there, amid the vast expanse of the galaxy, the final relic awaited. The key to the Ancients' ultimate secret and the fate of all life in the universe. The road ahead would be long and perilous, fraught with danger and uncertainty. But Zara knew that they would face it together, united in purpose and resolve. The Alliance had been forged in the fires of adversity, and it would not break. As the fleet set out once more, the stars beckoning them onward, Zara stood tall on the bridge of the horizon. The Sapphire Enigma lay ahead, a mystery waiting to be unlocked, and she would not rest until she had seen it through to the end. For the sake of the galaxy, and all who called it home, failure was not an option. The legend of Zara Vance and the horizon would echo through the ages, a beacon of hope in the darkness, and the light of their courage would guide the way to a brighter tomorrow. Zara and her allies won a decisive victory in the star cluster, capturing the second ancient artifact, but they faced even more difficult challenges ahead. The Obsidian Legion retreated, but was not defeated. They will certainly regroup, adapt, and strike again. Somewhere in the vast expanse of the galaxy, the last third artifact was hidden, the key to the Ancients' greatest secret and to the fate of all life in the universe. And Captain Zara Vance was determined to find it at any cost. Analysis of the data from the second artifact pointed the fleet toward the Spirit Nebula, an eerie and almost unexplored region of space. The nebula radiated a strange energy that confused senses and terrified the scouts. Ancient legends described this place as the border between the world of the living and the world of the dead. But there was no choice. If the last artifact was hidden somewhere in the depths of the nebula, Zara had to take a chance. The fleet entered the nebula, and reality seemed to go off the rails. Space was distorted in an unnatural way, eerie shadows danced on the screens, and ghostly voices and whispers were heard on the air. The hulls of the ships vibrated from anomalous radiation, and the crews reported hallucinations and bouts of irrational fear. Zara desperately searched for landmarks that would help her find her way to the artifact. An unexpected flash of insight led her to a crazy idea to trust the nebula, to let it guide the fleet. "Turn off all sensors," she ordered. "Let's rely on our intuition." Wandering through the nebula's labyrinths, the ships fell into a trance. The outside world ceased to exist, only visions and symbols whispered by the nebula remained. But in a mysterious way, the fleet was moving toward its goal. Every vision, every symbol was a clue, a beacon in the darkness. And now, through the bizarre swirls of fog, the third artifact appeared before them, a colossal sphere of pure sapphire light, shrouded in an eerie aura of otherworldly energy. The heart of the nebula, the source of its power. Suddenly, the Obsidian Legion attacked from ambush. Inhuman ships emerged from the mist like nightmarish ghosts and unleashed streams of destructive entropy on the Alliance fleet. The Legion fought its way through the nebula, combining its dark technology with its paranormal powers. The final battle broke out, and the fate of the galaxy depended on it. Zara threw her fleet into a counterattack, and the space of the nebula turned into hell. Ships were torn apart, ramming into each other, and desperate boarding parties were engaged in hand-to-hand combat on the decks of enemy vessels. The nebula responded to the fury of the battle, giving birth to apocalyptic storms of psionic energy in which nightmares came to life and reality dissolved into madness. Concentrating all their fire on the horizon, the fleet's flagship, the Obsidian Legion, nearly broke its defenses. But at the critical moment, Zara's connection to the nebula reached its climax. All the pain and rage, all the hopes and sacrifices merged into a single whole and were released in a crushing psionic blow. Like a hurricane of psychic energy, this blow swept through the enemy's ranks, shattering their ships into atoms. The Obsidian Legion was destroyed. The road to the artifact was open, Zara personally delivered the last artifact aboard the Horizon and connected it to the other two. The three ancient relics pulsed in unison, merging into a single whole. And Zara finally comprehended the true essence of the Sapphire Enigma. It was the key not only to the knowledge of the ancients, but also to the very structure of space and time, to the fundamental laws of existence. She saw the universe in all its majesty and horror, endless cycles of expansion and contraction, birth and death, and the role of intelligent races as carriers of memory and experience. I realized that the Obsidian Legion was a creature of the dark side of evolution, a destructive dead end that threatened everything that exists. And the Sapphire Enigma was the means to correct this fatal mistake, to restart the cycle of existence in the right direction. But for this, it was necessary to sacrifice oneself, to become a guide and catalyst for this transformation. Zara did not hesitate. Standing in the center of the ancient artifact, she opened her mind and soul to the flow of incomprehensible energy. Her body dissolved, transforming into pure light, into the radiant power of transformation. The nebula flashed with billions of rainbow tones and shades. A wave of revelation, comprehension, and renewal swept through the entire galaxy, and then through the universe. Intelligent beings experienced amazing insights and metamorphoses, discovered new dimensions of their existence, and transformed their civilizations. And the Alliance fleet, Zara's faithful companions and friends, became the first guardians of the renewed galaxy. Inspired by her example, they picked up the torch of knowledge and enlightenment to carry it into the future. Thus began a new era, an era of unity and understanding, of unlimited possibilities and endless development. An era of a great dream started by a simple person named Zara Myles, a woman who changed the universe.